Welcome back to the Ethanol Review. Today we're going to talk about a fortified wine called Madeira. Hey there. First of all, Madeira is both a place and a style of wine. It's a Portuguese island in between Portugal itself and then the northwestern coast of Africa. It's a place and it's a style of wine. Essentially how it started is you had these wine producers who were sending their wine across the ocean for months at a time, and it would get to the destination and be spoiled. So they started to fortify it. They added brandy to the wine in the cask so that it could make the journey. Well, something interesting happens when you have a fortified wine that is exposed to a wide array of elements and constant agitation. It took on a different character when it arrived at the destination, and it became to be known as Vino de Rota. Vino de Rota, I think that's how you pronounce it. But it was this agitated style of fortified wine. And so fast forward in Madeira, in keeping with that tradition, which this has been done for hundreds of years now at this point, they mimic as best as they can the conditions upon which the wine's origins lay. So they mimic that ocean voyage. Now there's two main ways of doing this. There's the fast way, which is called estufagem, which is basically, I think it means baking, but you take the fortified wine before you put it in casks and you heat it up to, gosh, I want to say it's in the 150s Fahrenheit, something like that. But you heat it up, let it sit there for a while, and then bring it back down to room temperature. And you do this over and over again for around 3 months, depending on the producer. So this is mimicking sort of that temperature fluctuation that was experienced on these boat explorations. Now the other version, which is thought to have higher quality Madeira, is called Cantero. And so this is where they take the fortified wine, the Madeira, and they put it in these casks that naturally are exposed over time to temperature fluctuation. So imagine storing it in the attic of a big warehouse that isn't air conditioned, or maybe even outside. So you get this slow but similar effect of up and down in the temperature, perhaps hopefully with a little bit of agitation also. So this Cantero method is thought to have better results. That is, it's a slower extraction, it's a slower aging process instead of the much more rapid estufagem. Now from here, there are two roughly main ways to break down Madeira. You have single varietal Madeira, or used with one grape and the corresponding styles, which I'll give you. And then you have the blended Madeiras. Now you could almost equate this to Scotch, like blended Scotch versus single malt Scotch. Blended Madeiras, generally speaking, aren't quite as high of a quality as a single varietals, but there are absolutely going to be exceptions, the same with blended Scotches. So the single varieties are single malts. There are bad ones out there, but generally speaking, it tends to be of a higher quality. Now, there are 4 noble grape varietals within the single varietal spectrum. You have Cercio, which is the driest, the lightest of the group. We would say, we'll call that dry. The next one gets a little bit richer, we'll call it medium dry, and this is called Varietal. And so Varietal, you're medium dry, you're gonna get a bit more body, a bit more richness, and this tends to take on a slightly smoky character. So a lot of people recommend eating it with soups. After Varietal, you get a bit richer, you're about, we'll call it medium rich, and this is called Boal, B-O-A-L. Well, at least that's one spelling. So now we're getting even richer, even more full, even more complex, until you get to the final, which is Malmi. And Malmi tends to be the richest, sweetest, most dessert-like of the group of single varietals. Now on the other side, to the blended spectrum, you can go from rainwater to finest. These are both, you'll actually see it on there, it'll say rainwater or finest. And those are both on the younger, tends to be lower end of the quality spectrum. And then it goes up to reserve, which is an age statement. Special Reserve and Extra Reserve, and it's just getting older and older and older. Today we're going to feature the Miles brand of Madeira. These guys have been around since 1878, and we're going to taste their 10-year-old Tinta Negra. So there's one big player, grape, that I didn't mention, which is Tinta Negra Mole. This accounts for the vast majority of grape production in Madeira. It is the workhorse of the group. So this is a 10-year version of the workhorse. But enough chit chat, let's give it a try. Very tawny-like character, like a very soft brown, maybe with hints of red in it. Really pretty color, nice clarity to it. Madeira is like sherry in that you can pour it or you can have someone pour it and you can be across the room and you can smell it and distinctively know what it is. Madeira has a really characteristic, nutty, kind of salted caramel character. So again, what we're drinking today is a 10-year-old version of Tinta Negra, which is the workhorse grape. So this isn't what many would consider really fine quality Madeira. Like, it's legit. It's like good. It's good enough. At least that's how it's considered. Now, how it actually tastes, that is different. Oh, I fucking love this. It's like stewed fruits, like dried fruit, maybe with a bit of roasted character. No shortage of caramel and like sweet nuts, like glazed nuts. Figgy, oh gosh, it's just such a dessert. I mean, this really is a dessert. And they're making it in a rich style, Madeira rich. So it's almost like it's mimicking the Malmsey style. Am I pronouncing that right? Malmsey? The richest of the single varietal grapes. So I think this is like a take on that, just with a different grape. A grape that's not held as high regard. But it's gorgeous. Toffee. I mean, this is such a complex treat, which is why I love Madeira, well, really fortified wines in general, more than your typical wine, because the depth of these things is just absurd. I mean, it just keeps going. Long finish, complex nose, complex palate, but just super homey and reassuring. Really delicious stuff. A great dessert, although I could pretty much drink this all damn day. God, so fucking good. So good. These guys use the Gantero method of aging, which I mentioned before. So not the estufagem, which is the quicker extraction where they bring it up and down in temperature over a few months. This is aged in casks for a while, 10 years in this case. So the extraction is different. It's more nuanced, theoretically. I really recommend you go and buy a bottle of this. I think that the open bottle in Madison may have it, possibly Liquor Express. If they don't have Miles specifically, they'll definitely have some Madeira there for you to try. And if you haven't had it, you gotta try it. It's really good, and it's not very expensive, especially this brand. Miles, very affordable stuff. Also, you may could find it at Domain South, possibly. I'm not really sure about that though. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new. I know that I did. I hope you can find a way to try some Madeira or maybe some sherry, another fortified wine, and open up your spectrums of what dessert can be. Cheers.